all species have developed special sensory apparatus to gather information essential for survival. Eagles and other birds of prey have astonishingly accurate vision. Dogs can smell things in concentrations 100 times lower than we can. And bats can use sonar to track and capture tiny, fast-moving insects. Psychologists study all sensory processes: hearing, smell, taste, and so on. But their major focus, and ours, is on visual perception. Our sensory abilities are usually measured by the absolute threshold, the weakest level of a stimulus that can be accurately detected at least half the time. For humans, that includes a candle flame seen at 30 miles on a dark, clear night. The tick of a watch under quiet conditions at 20 feet. 1 teaspoon of sugar in 2 gallons of water. 1 drop of perfume diffused in the space of a 3-room apartment. The wing of a bee falling on your cheek from a distance of 1 centimeter. Our sensory knowledge of these stimuli comes from the many millions of specialized receptors spread throughout our bodies. In our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, muscles, our joints and tendons, our inner ear, and even certain parts of our digestive tract. Each receptor is designed to detect certain types of physical energy, such as light waves or sound waves. This stimulation is then converted into a special code, electrochemical signals called neural impulses, which the nervous system transmits to the brain's cortex. The cortex has the job of putting all the sensory information together and acting upon it. Different regions of the cortex translate different neural impulses into different psychological experiences, such as melody or touch. Visual information is first processed in the occipital lobe area in the rear of the brain, hearing and smell in the temporal lobe, speech perception in the frontal lobe, and body senses in the parietal lobe. These primary sensory centers then project the results of their activity to a relay station, the thalamus, which in turn sends the information to a succession of areas in the cortex. It's believed that this is where more abstract information processing takes place, and where we connect new information with old information stored in our memory. Visual perception, for instance, takes place in 3 areas: in the retina, or the back surface of the eye, in the pathways through the brain, and in the part of the cortex at the back of the brain responsible for visual processing, the visual cortex. This is the way an image, or rather a pattern of stimulation, is formed on the retina. It's upside down, flat, distorted, full of holes, out of focus, and obscured by blood vessels. In fact, it's amazing that we see as well as we do. Now remember that the task of all perception is to determine what the real object in the environment is. Another term for this object is the distal stimulus, the thing out there. But the only way to find out what that is by using information derived from the object's stimulation of a sensory receptor in the body. This stimulation is called the proximal stimulus. In this case, an image formed on the retina. The brain knows only the image, but what it must discover is the true nature of the actual object, the distal stimulus. So here's where the brain earns its keep. It must eliminate confusing signals, fill in the blanks, give it 3 dimensions, and straighten out the upside-down image to put it all in perspective. These transformations occur instantly and continually.